Good day. Welcome to your news at noon on Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. In your news today, in light of the recent ruling by Justice Rishi Prasad, which granted ExxonMobil and its affiliates a stay to the Supreme Court judgment that required it to provide an unlimited parent company guarantee agreement or affiliate company guarantee agreement, the Oil and Gas Governance Network is demanding that Exxon not only provides said guarantee, but pays taxes on profit oil. In a protest action in the streets of New York City, the Oil and Gas Governance Network is protesting the recent ruling that allows Exxon to lodge $2 billion as a security deposit in the event of an oil spill offshore Guyana. The body views that figure as wholly inadequate, since it believes that in the event of a major oil spill, it will require substantially more than a paltry $2 billion. Citing the cleanup of the major oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico that has surpassed $60 billion, with a final estimated cost hovering around $145 billion, Guyana should not be accepting anything less than an unlimited parent company guarantee as a means of ensuring that in the event of an oil spill, Exxon will be responsible for cleanup costs that will follow. Without a proper parent company guarantee in place, Guyana risks economic decimation, as it would be left to pick up the bill for an oil spill or any other catastrophic event that could occur from Exxon's operations offshore Guyana. Guyanese taxpayers will have to pay for any cleanup activities that surpass $2 billion. And the Vice President Bharat Jagdeo on Thursday made it clear that his government prefers selling out the profitable Marriott Hotel to a single buyer rather than allowing the Guyanese people to purchase it in shares. After giving a brief explanation of why he prefers a single buyer, Jagdeo made it clear that his government is not going to change its decision to sell the Marriott to one person. One of the reasons for opting not to sell the hotel in shares, according to Jagdeo, is to avoid persons accusing him of selling to one of his party associates. In justifying his government's decision that it will be more profitable to sell to a single buyer, the vice president questioned what would have been the price per share if it had decided to take that route. And in other news, the fact that ExxonMobil Guyana is dodging its responsibility in providing adequate financial protection for Guyana in the event of a catastrophic oil spill places every Guyanese taxpayer in financial danger. The fact that the company is also producing more oil at its Liza well beyond what is scientifically safe not only increases the chances of a mishap, but more importantly, increases the risk to Guyanese pockets as well as their environment. This is according to U.S.-trained oil and gas expert Dr. Vincent Adams, who reiterated the need for Guyanese to understand both the environmental and financial risks associated with the oil giant's refusal to provide the nation with a written assurance that it will cover all spills above and beyond what its locally formed limited liability company, ESSO, could manage. More recently, ESSO President Alistair Rutledge sought to downplay the risk of Guyana having its oil contaminating at least 12 tourism-based Caribbean countries, despite its environmental impact assessment being pellucid on the at-risk nations in the path of the moving spill. And in other news, a Sophia man wanted for the alleged killing of a murder witness in 2021 was on Sunday captured with an illegal gun at New Amsterdam, Berbice, Region 6. Berbice police identified him as John Kennedy, better known by his alias Big John of Beefield, Sophia. Big John was reportedly nabbed around 10 hours by police ranks on mobile patrol. According to police, the ranks arrested him in the vicinity of Main and Church Streets, New Amsterdam, after finding a 9mm pistol on him loaded with 15 live rounds. And just before we head to a short break, let's tell you, within the last 5 years, the traffic congestion on the city's main access roads has doubled, if not tripled in number. This increase of vehicular traffic is no doubt linked to Guyana's fairly new and developing petroleum sector. A petroleum sector with many prospects as Guyana's can mean profitability for the citizens, but in this case, it has led to the traffic buildups, loss of precious man-hours, and destruction of the main access roads with little to nothing to show for it. This issue was brought to the fore by Kaieteur News publisher Dr. Glenn Lau. The publisher spoke candidly of the increase of vehicles, to wit, heavy-duty machinery that can be seen plying the various routes on a daily basis. The time has now moved on to 12 hours 10 in Guyana, and you're listening to Kaieteur Radio. We'll return shortly after the break.
Wanting to protect your family during these difficult times of COVID-19 is natural.
Stay at home, wash your hands often, and don't touch your face.
Yes, Daddy.
But are you doing these things too? And do you practice social distancing? Do you keep 3 to 6 feet away when you're shopping? Or at least stay an arm's length away in the supermarket? Remember, children learn from adults. So if you're not obeying the precautions, neither will they. We have to work towards the new normal together to keep our families safe and protected. Be part of the solution, don't add to the problem. Teach by example and do the right things.
A message from the Child Care and Protection Agency, Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, and UNICEF.
Welcome back. A 26-year-old man died on Sunday after a mining pit caved in on him in Region 7. The deceased was identified as O'Neill Richardson of the Essequibo Coast. Reports are that Richardson went into the Peruni area to undertake mining detection. The man reportedly left the camp with his mining detector equipment early Sunday, and after some time elapsed, his cousin and other workers went in search of him. His mining instrument was found sticking out of the pit while the walls appeared disturbed. His lifeless body was later pulled from the pit. Outgoing city mayor Pandit Ubraj Narain is coming to the defense of the Georgetown mayor and city council. Days ahead of the local government elections, the mayor released a statement in response to the vice president's claim that the municipality has been avoiding being audited for fear of being exposed for financial irregularities. Jagdeo said that the current mayor and city council is afraid of financial audits. However, according to the mayor, in January for every single year since he became mayor of Georgetown in January of 2019, he had written to the Auditor General requesting an audit of the accounts of the municipality. Contrary to Jagdeo's claim, Narain said that it is the PPP regime that has been strangling Georgetown. He explained that in 2020, the council got 0 subventions while budgetary allocation was $10 million. Narain said that in 2021, 2022, and 2023, the subvention would have been $30 million. Adding to this, the PPP government owes City Hall more than $1 billion in rates and taxes, and the administration is not paying. He continued, if the PPP government and the companies it controls, such as GPL, which owed about $10 billion, and GWI, simply pay their debts, the MNCC would be able to do much more for the residents of Georgetown. In other news, the Ministry of Education is predicting a better retention rate in schools, with a slew of measures being implemented to address absenteeism. Retention rate is a measure of the proportion of students who continue their studies after their first year. Minister Priya Manikchand made the disclosure during an interview on Thursday. She said when the Because We Care cash grant program was reinstated, the number of students attending classes improved and more students were registered in the public education system. And to wrap things up, the director of the Pan American Health Organization, Dr. Jabaz Barbosa, urged leaders and decision makers to ensure mental health is placed top of political agendas and integrated into all sectors and policies in order to address worsening mental health in the Americas due to the COVID-19 pandemic. While mental health has historically represented a significant source of disability and mortality in the Americas, accounting for nearly 1/3 of all years lived with a disability, the COVID-19 pandemic further increased the risk factors for mental health issues, including unemployment, financial insecurity, and grief and loss. Despite the high level of mental health issues in the region, the vast majority of those with a condition do not receive the care they need. In 2020, more than 80% of people with a severe mental health condition, including psychosis, did not receive treatment. And with the time now moving on to 12 hours 15 in Guyana, we wrap things up by turning the pages of today's Kaieteur newspaper to page 7, dedicated to being blunt. Today is local government elections. Today, Guyanese will go out to vote for the candidate and party of their choice at this year's local government elections. It is our view that local government elections should be left to the people in the various communities, and the big parties should not get involved in fielding candidates and campaigning. But the PPPC and PNCR's insatiable appetite for power would not allow them to cede control. We wish the independent candidates well and urge wise voting from the rest of us who think we should support one of the behemoths. And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of